Whenever I want something more, I think, what could I do to earn more? What could I do to deserve more? This is a remnant of a conversation you see in marketing all the time. Say, you deserve it. You're worth it, girl. I'm like, no, you're worth about exactly what you're worth right now. You're getting about the outcomes, more or less, that you deserve in life, given your effort so far. That doesn't mean that we can't make a bigger effort. Doesn't mean I can't learn better technology, learn better information of some kind, implement that information, find a 19th source of income and a 20th source of income, or focus on something that's already working and make it work better. There's a lot of ways that we can earn more and deserve more. I think it's like a very dangerous psychology to be like, I'm worth it. I deserve it. And it corrupts the minds of a lot of women and plenty of men too. There's like, I'm supposed to have this or that just because. But, where's my UFC belt? I'm worth it. I've been training for months. Where's my UFC belt? I deserve it. So now, if I deserve it, then I got to go knock out John Jones, and then I deserve it. Nobody's been very good at doing that so far. No one's been able to do that so far. Am I the first person likely to do that at age 45? How many more fights would I have to have before then to even earn the opportunity that I'd be the most deserved person for the opportunity to fight him? I got to go. If I only had to beat 20 other people before then, like, that'd be great. If I only had to beat 10 people to get a title shot, like, wouldn't that be an amazing story by itself? If I only beat 10 high-level fighters back to back to back to back.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. So first I got to win 10 more consecutive fights against professional fighters that are younger than me and been training for 8 times as long. So does that seem probable? Probably not. Doesn't seem be a hell of a story. Be a hell of a story if you made it true, but I mean, that would be like a fast track of, like, if I beat up 10 other super high level fighters on the way there, got my title shot, then I could have the privilege to get my ass kicked by John Jones and still not have my UFC belt. So that type of thinking of, like, oh, I deserve it. I've been working on the thing. I've been working on my business. Like, where's my first $1 million? Do you really deserve it? Did you really earn the thing? So, that's not a negative thought. That's not something to, like, put you in check as, like, oh, just stay down here. Just remind myself to stay down here. I don't deserve it. It's just a reality of, like, all right, what could I do to deserve it? So I think, like, a healthy psychology is, it's not to say, like, oh, I don't deserve it, I can't have it. So, well, what would have to be true for me to have that? What would have to be true for me to deserve that? What could I start doing right now that would get me on that path? Is that my best option of the possible futures that I could have? Is that my best option to go down that path, or is there a better path that would be more fulfilling or higher probability of success? I would say there's a low probability that I would be able to go win, 10 or 15 fights in a row to go have my title shot. At what age? I'd be 50? If I fought 3 times a year, I could fight John when I'm 50. If I did, like a Hall of Fame exceptional run. 'Cause I got to go get my UFC contract first, so I got to go beat up a few people to get my UFC contract. And then I got to go, get myself in the top 15. There's a few more fights and a lot of shit talking. So the amount of shit talking that would have to happen to bring attention to yourself and exceptional performance to go with the shit talking so that people paid attention and didn't just laugh at you. So that's probably 10 fights or something. That would be a fast track. To go from here to top 15 is 10 or so fights with a lot of shit talking.
Yeah.
And then I just got to go beat up, 5 more people.
In the UFC. Yeah,
in the top 15. And that doesn't mean that I get a belt. That just means that I get. That's probably just not true. It seems very improbable. So does that mean like, oh, I might as well give up on the MMA stuff then? Well, no, it's still good for my fitness. I look good, I feel good, feel like I'm accomplishing some stuff. It's a fun thing to do with my crazy friends. Like, still a lot of good things about martial arts, or the exercise, you feel productive, feel like a badass. Not a badass in like a macho tough guy way, but you just feel like you're just kind of pleased with yourself. Like, oh, I can do some things that other people can't do. There's people here that are like computer coders that you feel like a badass in a similar way. It's like, oh, I could do some shit that other people can't do. Like, that's pretty cool. So I mean it literally more in that way. Like, if you're good at computer science, if you're good at some other things, like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty good at that. The little sense of pleasure or happiness that goes with it. Like, you know a lot more stuff about agriculture than anybody else here. Like, you have the right to feel proud about that. So just that type of thing. But yeah, don't accept a lowly place because you don't have whatever your financial goal or whatever big success trophy yet. It's just like, well, what would have to be true for me to do that? What are my alternatives so it might be interesting or pleasurable to me? What's the probability of that outcome? If I could achieve that, what's the probability that I could do that? And some things just like, I don't know, like, even if I could, I wouldn't want to change myself in the ways that you'd have to for me to be like the president of the country. Like, I don't want to go shake everybody's hands and kiss a baby and pretend to be somebody I'm not and do those type of things. It wouldn't be fun for me. I don't want to go through, I'm not trying to be a professional fighter. The truth of that, by the way, folks, is like, and every fighter comes over, it's like, when are we going to get you a fight? When are we going to get you a fight? Everyone. Even her, when are we going to get you a fight? Like,
It'll be fun to watch.
Jesus, leave me alone. So what happens if I wanted to go do a few professional fights? What happens if I lose? Am I going to accept that, or am I going to go sign another contract and go get a win somewhere? Okay. What happens if I win? Am I going to stop there, or am I going to go sign a contract and get a couple more wins? So what's the only path that would have me stop that eventually? What's the only thing that could happen that I would stop? If I keep winning, you'd keep fighting, right? Yeah. So you're literally signing up to like, oh, I'm going to go get a significant injury that, something that's going to change my life in some way, like a significant injury that I can't walk right now for the rest of my life or some problem. You have neck problems or back problems or walking problems for the rest of your life. Because anything short of a significant injury, you just sign the contract and go back and do it again. So if you were winning, you'd just go until you were beaten badly, maybe a few times in a row. So why do I want to sign up? Like, what's the upside? Do I make a lot of money doing that? No, I have to go fight like amateur fighters. They're not going to just give me a UFC contract. So I'd have to go fight like amateur fighters to go through that process, and so on and so on. And like, why would I want to do that? But I might go beat up a boxing champion sometime.
More fun.
I think that part I could do that, and that'd be more fun. So yeah, just think about those paths. Like, I don't know, sometimes that sounds cool, and every fighter thinks that's normal, so they come over and they're like, oh, when are we getting you a pro fight? Who are you going to beat up? It's like, bro, I'm just training and building a skill set. Like, when somebody mistakenly puts their hands on me on the street, then we'll utilize that skill set, and you'll read about it somewhere. But hopefully that doesn't even happen, but it will sometime. So think about that in the lens of your own life. Like, what are the things that would be worth the effort? To what extent? What are the trade-offs? And utilize your time on the things that have an attainable probability, or even if it sounds like a stretch, but you'd be like, well, what would have to be true for that to be true? Like, well, I'd have to get to here. How would I get to there? Well, I'd have to be here first. How would I get to there? Well, I'd have to do this first. And how could I get that? Like, well, I just have to do this and this and this. Well, if I just did this and this and this, I'm already on my way. All right, let's see, And maybe you get the big trophy or the big something, Or maybe you get 80% of that, which is still pretty cool, and be happier with that than anything else you could do, you know? But don't beat yourself up of like, and I'm not saying that you do, I'm just saying it to the room. Don't beat yourself up like, oh, I don't deserve the thing yet. I'm not the world champion yet. I'm not the world's first trillionaire. No, I guess it's not meant to be. No, fucking go do the things to earn more. What are your thoughts here?
This is like so common sense, right? Like it's like you have the life you deserve. Like whatever you're doing now, it's you know, it's gonna like if what you're doing now is worth enough to achieve what are you trying to achieve your goals, you're gonna eventually get there, you know. But if it's not, if you're laying around not really doing the things you need to do to achieve your goals, you're not gonna get there. Like this to me is so common sense, right? Because I understand the path it takes to win anything in life, you know. And for me, like translating, fighting, and here's a skill that not a lot of athletes have, right? It's like professional athletes learn so many skills in sports, but they can't translate to other things in life later on, right? Like when they retire, they can't invest their money. They can't find a new purpose. They can't even understand themselves because their life is so attached to their identity that it's so hard for them to do that next thing, you know. That's one thing that I think I do very well. I take all the lessons I learned in fighting to life moving on, right? I see a lot of athletes retiring from sports and getting like overeating and having mental challenges and not really knowing what to do next. But if they stop to understand what they did in their athletic career, like it's gonna be so easy to translate to whatever you want to do in life. When you go through an athletic career, you already understand hard work. When you go through a law school, you already understand hard work. You already understand what it takes to succeed in life. You know what the path is, right? When you make millions of dollars, like you know what hard work is, right? So you understand what path you need to take in order to get there. So it's so common sense. Like the life you have right now is the results of what you did the last couple of years of your life. The way you feel right now, it's the results of what you did in the last 72 hours. The way you ate, the way you slept, the people you hanged out with, like the way you're feeling right now. It's so common sense. It's related to what you've done the past 72 hours, right? So like, I want like my goal here, open to everybody. Like this is the year I want to make $1 million for the first time in a year. I'm past halfway, and I know what it's gonna take to get to the end goal, right? So I cannot slack around. I cannot sleep over. I cannot sleep in. I cannot go on so many vacations. I cannot lose momentum. Like I know what I want, and I'm working towards those things. And well, I think I do deserve because I put in the work. Like every time I go do the things that will take me to that end goal, I feel like I deserve it. But when I don't do the thing, then, you know I don't deserve it. So it's very common sense, but common sense is not common practice, right? We have a pretty good idea. Like I feel like everybody has a pretty good idea of what to do in life, but some people need coaches. Most people do, right? Needs the push, needs to be talking about it, needs more clarity about the things you have to do in order to get there, you know, and this is what we're doing here, right? But this is one thing you guys can, you know, all think about, you know, common sense is not common practice. Everybody knows what it takes to get in shape and lose weight and have a six-pack, but not everybody practice that. Like when you go through hard stuff in your life and you really have the skills to understand what it takes to win in life, Like you have a pretty good idea of what it takes to win in life and that thing, and it's common sense. But then in order to get that other thing in your life, you have to have common practice in that other thing too, right? So it's like translating your skills to new things and understanding that you have a pretty good idea of what you need to do in order to achieve your goals, but you have to practice. You have to go do them in order to go get them.
Who wants some chocolate coins? I don't mean to be rude, but this is about the best distribution system that we have here. So. I'll tell you what, before I leave this room, if you guys don't pick them up, I will.
Or I will.
Yeah, they're
They're fine.
they're actually not cheap to produce.
They're good.
And they actually taste really good. And they're dark chocolate, so they're not full of sugar. There's a lot less sugar.
You watch this video all the way through, and that tells me you're dedicated to learning more and earning far above average outcomes in your life. Congratulations for that. But now it's time to take action. If you could have earned those results by yourself, you would have done it already. My head coach has opened up a few spots on his high-demand calendar for an in-person, one-on-one strategy session to help you. On this call, we'll give you the pragmatic advice that you can implement tonight to get laser-focused on the right metrics and leave mediocrity far behind in your past. Click that link right now in the description below and apply for your call immediately. Do it now.